Welcome to Bleav in Big Ten, complete coverage of Big Ten football brought to you by the Bleav Network. I'm Tom Hanafin. He is Rhett Lewis from the NFL and Big Ten Network. He was on the ground for some of the Big Ten matchups this past weekend. However, we are going to dive into the big game, Penn State, Ohio State. That'll be fun. We're going to dive into our biggest quarterback performance, our biggest playmaker, and our biggest defensive performance. And then we're going to get through as many of the Big Ten games as we possibly saw this past weekend, the information you need to know coming out of everything that transpired this first weekend in November. This show is presented by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, the NHL to entertainment and political props, might as well. Head to betonline.ag today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bleav in Big Ten is presented by BetOnline. The game starts here. We will start, unfortunately for this Penn State podcaster, a lot of fan with the big game. Penn State hosting Ohio State. Do we have to talk about it, Rhett?
We do, bud. We do. Let's go down inside the red zone, maybe inside the 5-yard line, just to make you feel more comfortable.
It's cute. It's adorable. Thank you for bringing up nightmares.
Let's I think, again, this was nothing about this game said to me that Penn State was not in Ohio State's class. So I think there's something there for you to kind of hold on to and to grasp onto here, because I mean, look, Ohio State wins the game, but it was not overly dominant. I thought on the defensive side of the ball, they played really well. But again, you're Penn State, you were in the red zone 3 times and you come away with just 3 points on those 3 trips, the 1 field goal. And then it's only another field goal that accounts for your offensive production in totality on the day. The touchdown, of course, was the pick 6 off Will Howard early in the game, which, kind of had you thinking, oh, all right, Penn State's ready for this moment. And then, of course, it didn't go that way. So I do want to break down some of those red zone possessions with you, Tom. But like when you looked at it from your viewpoint as a Penn State alum, what stood out to you most about the way this thing ultimately went down?
You're closer to being elite, but you're still not quite there.
Yeah.
Looking at, I'd say, the top 8, top 9 teams in college football, Penn State could go down to any last one of them. And the challenge for me now is looking at the teams that Penn State has already played. They have a combined record of 33-34. If you remove Ohio State's 7-1 from that, then you have a team that has played opponents that have a combined record of 26-33. The remaining opponents for Penn State have a combined record of 16-18. So all of a sudden, that undefeated record doesn't necessarily look as good as it did, or that previously undefeated record doesn't look that great. And also, Illinois lost this weekend. Your one marquee ranked win this year was at home only by a score of 21-7 to then 19 ranked Illinois. Illinois has since dropped out of the rankings, is standing at 6-3 after a loss to Minnesota. So, everything's great. Everything's great. It's just fantastic.
It's great. Yeah. And look, and you look closer into the schedule, you see the close victory over Bowling Green. You see some of those things that kind of make you go, oh, okay. But ultimately, they played one of the top 3 teams in this conference, very tight, had a chance to win the game, to at least tie the game, and just couldn't come up with it at the end. So again, they were not outclassed in this game versus one of the most talented teams in the country in Ohio State, who clearly let loose after the game with how much this game meant. Ryan Day was like, we were at a crossroads. Like, he could feel it. And I think for both head coaches, like the heckling that James Franklin got coming off the field, the criticism he continues to get following these types of games that they don't win, would have been just completely reversed if Ryan Day had lost. He would have been feeling all of that heat. He would have been having the fire Ryan Day chants, in the stands. Probably even if it was at Columbus, the pressure that's on him, as we talked to Rob Stone about. By the way, if you missed that episode, still go check that out for some perspective on what his co-host there on the Big Noon Kickoff, Urban Meyer, the former Ohio State coach, thinks about all that surrounds being the head coach at Ohio State and everything that Ryan Day is dealing with. Because look no further than the relief that you saw from him in the post-game press conference, the celebration and jubilation after winning the game, and then inside the locker room. I mean, this team was like, man, we had to get this, like you could sense that. And it was like a weight was lifted off their shoulders after the win, Tom.
I agree. And I fully expect we'll get Ducks Bucks once again in the Big Ten title game. And I think
whoa. Well, are you there's a team that's going to have something to say about that, my friend.
What Indiana did against Michigan State. We certainly will.
We'll get there.
I have an expectation that could be it, but Indiana could certainly upset the apple cart, and that's on November 23rd. So we have some time to get to that, and a lot of things can happen between now and then. For me, I just saw this is a Penn State team that is anchored by its defense as it has been for decades now, and it was a very good defensive performance to only see Ohio State score 20 points against you. Really next to no explosive plays. The wide receivers were largely kept in check. Yes, there were touchdown passes, but you didn't see Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate and company just go absolutely bananas and go over the top of the coverage. You saw Penn State play a really good defensive effort. A little disappointed in the way that the defensive front and the defensive front seven played against what was a patchwork offensive line that was talked about by Urban Meyer and company ad nauseum going into the game. And Penn State just wasn't able to shut them down on that side. Offensively, you just aren't talented enough at wide receiver. You just aren't talented enough to threaten anybody, because if they take away the run game, it's not that Drew Aller isn't capable, and it's not that it's a bad offensive line. It's just nobody's open. Hard to work with.
I went and looked at those those two possessions at the end of the half and then end of the game, right? In the middle of the fourth quarter, which I really thought that Penn State was going to have an opportunity to get the ball back. We'll get to that part here in a second as well. But basically what I came away with, and I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown here. Obviously that first one at the end of the half, they get down there with 13 seconds left. They have a timeout. They've got a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line inside the 5. And when I watched, because I did not watch this game live, okay, because I was on the field. It was going on. It was going on as we were preparing for our game, UCLA and Nebraska. So I went back and watched it on tape, and I thought Penn State's. When I watched the all 22 angle, I thought Penn State scored. I thought it was a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, it's incomplete, as the referees clearly ruled. And then I'm expecting to go back and watch 2nd and 3, 2nd and goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait, what? And it skips to the entire next possession. I'm like, what in the world happened here? I cannot believe that Davison Igbinosun caught that ball.
Oh, yeah. That was incredible. It was incredible.
I mean,
I'm not even mad at Aller about it or anything.
I'm not mad at Aller about it. Not at all. Like that is just a guy that is one of the best corners in football making a play. Chuck that. I mean, look, you'd have loved to have gotten some points there. We get it.
I'd have loved any points from the offense outside of field goals. Anything would have been great. And then to the point you were saying about the 4 attempts from inside the 5-yard line, run it up the gut, run it up the gut, run it up the gut. The 4th down play, everybody's saying, well, you should have gotten the ball to Tyler Warren in that instance. They were trying to, but still, you should have gotten it to him maybe on those first 3 plays, not all of them, but somewhere in that mix. My issue was the play design was run to the short side of the field when you were already up against the hash. You create next to no space, and you shrink everything in the end zone, which any quarterback will tell you. There's just nowhere to put the ball, and then trying to get the ball to Dinkins in what was basically triple coverage at that point. So I was a little surprised by that play calling, and there's been a lot of conversation now by Penn State fans. Who really called the plays? Was it Andy Kotelnicki in that spot? Was that James Franklin? In case of emergency, I'm the head coach. I'm going to tell you what to do here. But we may never get the answer to that. So it's just frustrating for Penn State fans that you still can't get over the hump that is Ohio State, but Ohio State stays in the conversation for the Big Ten title game and stays in the conversation for the college football playoff.
Let me detail those couple of plays down there at the end here a little bit.
You have to.
I do. Unfortunately, first down, it's as heavy set as you can have. Right, they have one receiver, everybody else is in there, all the big guys, all the tight ends. So it's essentially they're all moving they're all it is a like a play where they do get some movement along the offensive line, and they are all pushing. I'm actually kind of, as I'm talking to you about it, going back to look at it right now. It's everybody's pushing right, and it looks like it is designed for Kate Allen to essentially go right off the left side of Tyler Warren, except he kind of hesitates a little bit. He hesitates a little bit. His head is down. He ends up going right into the back of 71, and just allows Ohio State to kind of catch up there. They had three guys outside of Warren and outside that left side of the formation, including Simon, who just helped kind of stuff that thing up. Second play, they try, the kind of the creativity with 71 coming in motion, right? They get Yanni coming in motion, and he kind of whiffs. He doesn't block anybody on that play, and you're like, it didn't really affect anything because that guy didn't really make the play. But what happens is nobody gets to the second level. So you had Tyler Warren and the other tight ends there kind of doubling down on the right side of Ohio State's defensive line. And Sonny Styles just kind of scrapes over and makes a one-on-one play on Kate Allen. You're like, there's not much he can do there. He's just got a free guy in the hole down there trying to make a play. And so that one I didn't love. Then on third down, boy, the center just gets beat. I mean, just gets beat one-on-one, and Ohio State comes through and just makes some penetration havoc in the backfield. And look, and then you're down to fourth down, and now it's like, all right, everybody in a building knows you're going to throw it at this point. And I think that was I would have liked to have seen him throw it on one of the first three downs. Yes. But look, hindsight's 20/20, right? And so I get that, but your defense has to get off the field. Like Ohio State runs the clock. We talk about 4-minute offense. That was dang near 6-minute offense at the end. And I think for Will Howard, that meant something on that 3rd and 3 at the end to really seal it and essentially allow for the kneel down at the end. So kind of poetic for Will Howard at the end.
Will Howard played himself a nice game. Is he the greatest quarterback I've ever seen? No, but certainly what he does within that offense, he's got a lot of weapons and he makes good decisions with the football. So you win a lot of games that way. So that is our big game breakdown here on Bleav in Big Ten. We will see. This has been the recap of Week 10. We're going to look ahead to Week 11 a little bit later on this week here on Bleav in Big Ten. Like, comment, subscribe, rate us, turn on notifications wherever you get your podcasts. You can hit us up, get at us on social media, and tell us what you're thinking about everything that went down this weekend. He's Rhett Lewis. I'm Tom Hanafin. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav in Big Ten.